Hello everyone, my name is Jodi Robson and I am a home baker from the Okanese First Nation in Treaty 4 territory. I reside in Regina right now with my family and I like to bake. So I've been baking off and on for about 25 years, which is the majority of my life. I enjoy baking and one of the first things I learned to bake was Bannock. Bannock is a staple in many Indigenous households and non-Indigenous households as well. Bannock is a very versatile and simple bread to make. It can be made with any kind of flour and your liquids and your leavening agent. You can also make it with any kind of fat. Some people prefer melted butter, some prefer lard or animal fats. I prefer canola oil. So today's recipe will be made with canola oil. So let's get started with Bannock. First thing you're going to want to do is preheat your oven to 375 and set your oven rack to the middle of the oven. Then prep your baking sheet. I like to put parchment paper on mine, but you can also grease it if you prefer. Now get yourself a large bowl. This is my old trusty bowl. I've had it for forever and I don't know where it came from. Then you're going to put in your dry ingredients. For this recipe, you will need 4 cups of flour plus a little extra for kneading, 2.5 cups of milk, half a cup of canola oil, 2 tablespoons of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of salt. I have 4 cups of flour right into the bowl, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 2 tablespoons of baking powder. I'm going to go ahead and mix those right up. I'm using a wooden spoon. You can use a fork or even the dough attachment in your stand mixer if you prefer. I learned how to make Bannock by hand using very simple tools, and that's how I prefer to make it today. But it's entirely up to you. If you prefer to use a stand mixer, by all means do it. Bannock is one of those recipes that each family has their own unique technique, ingredients, and way that they make it or the way that they learn to make it. This is my way, but it can differ from others. So I'm just going to mix the dry ingredients together, and then using the back of the wooden spoon, I'm going to build a well in the middle of the bowl. Yeah, should look something like that. Be hollow. That's where you're going to put your wet ingredients. Now, some people add eggs to their Bannock. I don't. I just do milk and canola oil. But I do insist that you use a warm milk. Cold milk, I don't know, it just doesn't work right. So all my ingredients are warm or at room temperature. And I just go ahead and I'm going to pour the milk and the oil together in the well. And then, again with the wooden spoon, slowly bring the edges of the well together. And it should form a dough for you. Now, if you find that your dough is a little sticky, because the amount of flour you need can vary depending on the humidity of the day or how high you are above sea level, you can always add a little bit more milk or a little bit less milk or a little bit more flour. It's a very forgiving recipe. You can't really mess Bannock up. Though everybody claims they have the best Bannock recipe. Yeah, no, I think mine is the best Bannock recipe. Okay, so this came together really quickly. You'll see it's kind of a shaggy dough. You're going to take your extra flour, sprinkle it on your work surface, your counter, your table. I have a large block of cutting board here. And then just turn your dough out onto it. This is the fun part. If you have kids, they absolutely love to do this. You just knead it. Just to bring it together. You're not aggressively kneading it. Canola oil is one of the oils that I like to have in my house because of its versatility. It has a high smoke point, so I like to use it when I sear meats. And it's also locally produced. I really enjoy using locally sourced ingredients in my baking and my cooking. There's just something about knowing that it came from close to home. So again, the Bannock dough comes together fairly quickly. It'll be a relatively smooth dough when you're done eating it. So my Bannock dough has come together. It's nice, it's smooth and round. It shouldn't be sticky to the touch anymore. Now let's get it on the baking sheet. So, parchment lined baking tray. And I'm just going to go ahead and press it down. So, because I want this to cook evenly all the way through, I am going to flatten my dough out with my hands. You can press it with your hands flat like this, or you can knead it down with your knuckles, or you can use a rolling pin. It doesn't really matter. Again, everybody has their own technique and own method. This is just the way I like to do it. Very hands-on with cooking. It speaks to my rustic style when it comes to being in the kitchen. So I'm just going to press the dough out till it's about 1 inch thick and even all the way across. So it turns out looking like that. Then I take the back of my wooden spoon and I dock the surface, just pressing all the way down. If you find that your wooden spoon, your fork, or whatever you're using to dock the surface sticks, dip it in some of the leftover flour you have from the kneading and just keep docking away. This will prevent it from puffing up and splitting on the sides as it bakes. It's not the worst thing to have your Bannock split, but it also helps it cook evenly. All right, so my Bannock is all prepped and ready to go into the oven. It'll bake for about 35 to 40 minutes, but everybody's oven is a little different, so just keep an eye on it. You'll be able to smell it as it starts to get golden. And it does not need to be flipped. You can just cook it straight like this. Well, our Bannock is out of the oven. As you can see, it's golden brown. It's raised up a bit. It's nice and fluffy and smells incredible. I'm going to remove it from the cookie sheet and place it on a cooling rack to finish cooling. You want to let your Bannock fully cool before you cut into it. A lot of steam will escape, and it does continue cooking a little bit once it's out of the oven. Once your Bannock is cooled, you can enjoy it with savory toppings, pair it with soup, or sweet toppings. I like to serve mine with Saskatoon jam, or orange marmalade, or canned crab apples. Enjoy!